All right, there is an E. Watson in the waiting room. Is that for the bench trial?
No, that's a victim in custody.
Ah, and then I have Janelle Simmons.
Yes.
All right, so Norma, if you can see about that attorney getting here so I can, did I already sentence him? Let me see the file. I need the file for Renee Camaria. Oh, no, I didn't sentence him, but if I can have that file. And Norma's not here, Rick. Yeah, okay.
I'm like, this one?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
So Watson and Simmons are both for victim impact? All right, let me let them know we're just waiting on the attorney. Simmons and Watson, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. The defense attorney hasn't arrived. Once the defense attorney arrives, we will take up Mr. Camarillo's case. All right, Carlos Vasquez Saldana. Carlos.
No, that's.
Oh, that's you.
the
Thank
trial.
you. Okay. Who is the other guy?
It's Nita Rodriguez Luna.
All right.
Rodriguez?
All right, so what I can tell you, oh, actually, Bill, your attorney is going to be here today. He has to be here today because he has a bench trial with this gentleman. But if there's an issue, just let me know. All right, thank you. Thank you, Bill. Well, you had said you wanted a new attorney.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It's just because he show up.
All right, yes.
Okay.
And Bill, I'll call you if the attorney doesn't show, I'll call you.
Oh, good, Judge.
All right, thank you. Oh, what are those? Oh, yes, you can just give them all to me.
And then you have the one for that.
Yes.
So just call me for right now.
All right, thank you. Deputy Laura, if you're asking, this PowerPoint presentation is going to be done today. Oh, yeah.
You were my student, you had been 2 days late.
Well, you know what's so funny? So here's the thing. When they ask you, sometimes people ask you last minute to speak at things, and they're like, oh, don't worry, you don't need a PowerPoint. Just speak about what you know, which I'm like, great, I can do that. And I'll just do, in my mind, I'll just do bullet points. So I'll know, hit this, hit the law on that. But when you're doing a PowerPoint, people want it all pretty, you know? I'm like,
When all the.
yes. And then videos attached. I'm like,
The sound effects.
You know what makes me crazy, Judge? I see like the attorneys doing presentations like Pinko Dyer or closing.
mhm.
I used to teach an instructor how to become an instructor for TCO. And I see the PowerPoints, I'm like, oh, that is horrible. I don't even wanna look at it.
Yeah.
Because the font is too small, so you can't see it, or it's the color is so similar, you can't see when you can't read it.
Well,
It's gonna be crazy.
well, before I send this out, you're gonna have to look at this PowerPoint and tell me if the colors are bothering you.
I will grade you, Judge.
I appreciate it. Oh, don't say that because now I'm gonna want an A++. I'm the student, if a teacher gave me an A, I go talk to them because, you know, what could I have done to get, you know, to receive the A+. You're messing with my my GPA.
Did you run out of A pluses? Cause I'm.
Uh,
What are you gonna do for extra credit?
Oh, let me just tell you, even if I had an A+, I would still do the extra credit. I was, believe it or not, I used to be great at math. So in my math class in college, the teacher was because they graded on a curve. And the teacher was, Stephanie, you know, you can make a 0 on this test and still have an A plus. I'm like, yeah, but I want to do it. But here's the funny thing. So I'm in that class, very first day. Nobody would sit around me. But Sean, I didn't smell. I smelled great.
Okay, that was my next question.
Because that was back in the day.
College, but-
That was back in the day where you had the red door thing. So I was the only Black student in the entire class.
This is the class when once they saw your grade, then they all wanted to sit by you. Is that right?
Because here's the funny thing about it. So nobody was sitting next to me. And all of the grades were done anonymously. So you could see the grades. And so they were trying to figure out who was destroying the curve, right? And I didn't say anything. I would just take my next test and leave. And then when it got to the final exam, everybody had figured out everything. So it is stadium seating. I didn't even think the professor really knew me. So I'm sitting there for the final exam. It's been passed out. And all of a sudden I'm surrounded, right? And in stadium seating, you know what the professor says? Stephanie Boyd. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I in trouble? I'm like, yes. She's like, come sit down here next to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then she said, hey, it was great having you in the class. I'm like, great being here. And then I left. And as I was leaving, you know what I did? I waved to everybody.
The curve buster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good nickname for sure.
Stuck around until they're.
But you know what? By the same token, I was in a class because I was taking political science because it had a lot of electives and I knew I wanted to practice law. So I'm in this biology class because I don't know. It's like I'm supposed to take a biology course. I'm like, let me check this off. Let me get all of everything that I need to take down, and then I can do all of my electives. So I'm in this biology course, and on the first paper, I make a B plus. I'm upset by it because I'm like, I studied for this, but then in my mind, I'm saying, you really didn't study. So then the next grade comes out and it's a B minus. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So then the professor's talking, he says, we're going to get into the Krebs cycle. And the Krebs cycle has so many parts to it, right? If this is like the Krebs cycle, but longer. And he said, it's just going to be the beginning and the ending. And I'm like, okay. So I take that exam and every single question has the Krebs cycle on it. And it gets to the point where I'm just guessing answers. I'm like, people say C, so I'm putting down C. I get my grade back and my grade is a C plus. And I am just about to lose it. And one of my friends from high school, she's like, Stephanie, we need to withdraw from this course. I'm like, what do you mean we need to withdraw? What is that? She's like, you can withdraw from a class. I said, well, my mom is paid for this class. I can't withdraw. I'm still in high school mode. And she said, we need to withdraw because we won't have a W on our grade. I'm like, what's a W? She's like, sign you withdrew. I said, but I think, I just need to study harder. And finally, she said, Stephanie, this guy is the head of this department and every person in here is studying to be doctors. I'm like, oh, that explains it. My passion's not here. So that was the first class that I ever dropped. And when I got my report card, I was like looking for the W to be on there. It wasn't. I'm like, I wouldn't even leave campus. People like, Stephanie, we're adults. We can leave campus. I'm like, yeah, but my class is in 3 hours. They're like, no, you can leave campus. I'm like, I'm gonna stay on campus. And I remember going to the student union and everyone not everyone, a majority planned their classes around the soap operas. I'm like, what? So people would be in there watching all my children. They're like, yes, Stephanie, you can pass your classes around soap operas. Me, I figured out that the more classes you take, the cheaper it is. So after my first semester, I started taking 24 hours a semester because I said, how hard can it be? Because in high school, you have 6 classes and here it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday. I'm like, I can do this. So I said, let me get out of here because it's too expensive. And so I did 24 hours a semester. And then over the summer, I think I did 15, but I had to get approval. I'm like, I got to get out of here. But those were fun days. Oh, I miss college.
They just say they used to schedule all their afternoon, even messing around. What bar was offering this happy hour?
Okay, I still haven't had a chance to watch The Accountant too.
Me either. It's on Amazon Prime though.
Yes.
I want to watch it.
And then there's some new one that's coming out with Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
It's Eddie Murphy and the guy from Saturday Night Live, and they drive one of those bank trucks, armored cars, and Keke Palmer's in it. I think she's so hilarious. But Vashawn, you're going to go see Ballerina this weekend?
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy it. I liked it. But I will tell you, it's a little bit of how do you pronounce it? Columbina. You remember yes, the one with Zoe Saldana. It's a touch of that. Actually, now that I think of it, that's what that is.
Then I've seen it.
No. You haven't seen it because John Wick wasn't in there.
And the Italian scenes with the light proof,
No, this, John Wick, I just want to be the blind man to kill it is. Who is that?
He was good. It brought back memories of going to the Dollar Theater to see all of the martial arts. My older brother would take me. It was $1, and if you had the coupon, it was 50, only 50 cents. All right. If I would have had money for a poster, you know who would have been on the poster in my wall when I was in middle school?
Oh.
Bruce Lee.
Oh, really?
Let me just tell you. So I didn't realize when my brother was taking me to see that, I didn't realize that Bruce Lee had already died or anything. So I'm just really into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. And so I really started loving the martial arts movies. And then I discovered Bruce Lee was dead. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
when's this next movie come there?
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
that.
You're like, do I need to go and do my investigation? And I'm like, curses.
What year died?
I want to say like 70, yeah, in the 70s, I think. And then I started watching his son, Brandon. And then he died on the set.
1973. 73.
Then he died on the set in The Crow. I still think that needs to be investigated more. And then John Eric Exum died in the series cover up on the set. Yeah. And then my brother introduced me to Jean-Claude Van Damme and Bloodsport. We paid 50 cents for that movie.
Blind guy.
Yeah. This is what I learned from watching all of my martial arts movies. Number one, if you see a guy who's very old and has a long white beard, don't mess with him because you're not going to win.
That is seafood,
Yeah.
fill in the blank.
If there's somebody who's blind, don't mess with them. Hey, Roberto.
Good morning, Judge.
Hi, good morning. You have a client here,
Oh, yes.
Otero Rodriguez Luna.
Yes, you.
All right, thanks. But those were the days. Young people will never grow up with the mini series.
With miniseries?
Yes. I remember watching the Thornbirds, and now looking back on that, although people say that's a great love story, like, he grew up with that child, and then he started dating her, and he's a priest.
Yeah,
What's
I've never
movie
seen
is
that.
this?
Yeah, I've never
The
seen that.
Thornbirds,
Thornbirds.
yes. So,
Richard Chamberlain.
yes.
And
Barbara Stanwyck was in it.
I need to put it on my watch.
who's the
It was
young maid that-
Ward. Her last name was Ward. I think it's Rachel Ward or something like that. And let me just tell you, we watched that series religiously. And then she ended up marrying the Australian guy who was a sheep farmer and had a child by the priest. And didn't the priest become a cardinal or something? And then he's like, yeah, I know I said we were going to be together, but I got this cardinal job, so no.
Yes, the Thornbirds.
The poem is it's based upon a book, and the book was very popular.
But we need a reset, he's gonna back up your trouble.
All right. Can I have a reset form, please? Oh, I didn't know you were over there. So it's what date for PTD?
Rachel Ward.
And now she's married to what is that guy's name? I think she's married to the guy who played the sheep farmer in that.
July 21st.
All right. All right, Mr. Leonard, we're going to bring you back on the 21st, okay? July 21st. Yes, once you sign the reset form, you're excused, and thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
I think it's a big plot that we like.
And then the other series we watched was what's it? A Woman of Substance.
What kind of substance, Judge?
Oh, so she started out, I think she was Irish, and she started out working for this wealthy family. I forget the person who wrote that series.
Okay, Judge.
Yeah, it's a housemaid.
That story based off of that.
Oh, that is the one with My Fair Lady. Yeah. I will tell you, there were many musicals that would have been great movies, but they had too much music in it. Oh, a lot.
Musicals.
I mean, there are some musicals I liked, and there are some, I guess I don't find the songs very catchy. They just don't make movies the way they used to.
No.
Why watch Korean movies?
I do too. Have you seen Vincenzo?
Uh-uh.
Okay, Vincenzo, you got to watch Vincenzo. It's VIN.
So, it's a series.
Yes.
Not the ending.
And it's
Okay.
dubbed, which would make it great, because I had to subtitle my voice.
I didn't do it dubbed because I like to hear the voice. Oh, and you know what else is a good series? My Happy Marriage. And it's animated. It's yeah.
Cartoon.
It's anime. I don't
Okay,
care.
okay.
But it is very good. My mom started me to watching that.
I don't do cartoon for Judge.
What? Then you never watched Transformers?
I watched them. So, a few of us. They changed.
Oh.
Back- But those are cartoons way back in the day, girl.
Transformers, robots in disguise. And at the end of G.I. Joe, they would always have a lesson for students. Okay. Oh, that's not good. But it will happen. You know, when you're campaigning, emergency must be a staple.
I drink something called Mark everything right out there. It's like emergency, they add caffeine.
Oh, see, no. Is caffeine naturally occurring in the world?
I can't be.
How this,
Yeah.
I love
okay,
it. I don't do.
Oh, I don't either, but I do hot chocolate, not in the summertime.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
My throat.
But yeah, they said do some honey. All right, are the parties ready on Renee Camarillo?
And then we're.
Favorite.
Oh, yeah. And the, yes,
Before we get started, I'm gonna get Can we address that? Yes.
Now we.
oh, we can,
Now we lost first.
yes, and I can keep it straight in my mind.
I'm trying to lose my
Okay.
weight, but I don't have to work.
There's been an event every single day this week.
Children at the end.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, Mr. Camarillo, if you'll come down, please.
That should be done by now.
Really, I think. Yeah, yeah. It's right.
Yeah, this guy have Bluetooth.
All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 5218 and 2024 CR 5219, State versus Renee Camarillo. Can I have parties announced?
Jason Gary from the State.
Marissa Giovanco from.
And are you Mr. Camarillo? All right, you entered pleas in each of these cases on June 10th, 2025. Are both parties ready to proceed with sentencing?
Yes.
All right. And 2024 CR 5219, you entered a plea of no contest to count 1 and count 2. The court found that there was evidence to find you guilty of count 1 and count 2. The court found you guilty of count 1 and count 2. According to your plea bargain agreement, counts 1 and counts 2 were run concurrently, and you will be sentenced to 20 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. This is the run concurrent with 2024 CR 5218. Take in consideration 2025 CC 005805. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing and that cause number?
Sentencing.
And just one moment. Also, there is to be no contact with the following persons: Sarah, SaarahAmin is the last name. Tariq, Tarek, last name Ramadan. All right, and that cause number, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification? I'm sorry, one other thing. With regards to sentencing, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon in count 1 and an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon in count 2. In that cause number, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. if you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? Do you have any type of drug issues? Okay. And then in cause number 2024 CR 5218, you entered a plea of no contest to count one, murder. The court found that there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court found you guilty. The court will sentence you to 20 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This is run concurrent with 2024 CR 5219. And taking consideration 2025 CC 005805. And there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. See. All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? You need to speak up. All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. How old are you? All right, you're 18. Any time that somebody serves is a lot of time. Many things can happen at the prison. Do not become institutionalized at the prison. You need to realize that you're where you are now because of your actions. I understand with the murder case, the way it's charged, which is legally a way it can be charged, because you were evading, you actually didn't hit the person in the crosswalk. The police actually hit that person chasing you, right? And so when you're sitting at the prison, you're probably going to start thinking, I shouldn't be here. Other people are going to start talking to you saying, you should have done this and that. But what I can tell you, that's the law, right? So at the prison, you can still get your education. At the prison, you can get some kind of trade so that when you're released from prison, you have some ability to get work. And it's going to be hard for you to find employment because you've been to prison. That's why you need to learn a trade at the prison. I don't know if they still do welding at the prison or not. I had one client who went to prison. He ended up becoming a welder. And there was such a high demand for welders, even though he had been to prison. When he was released, he ended up making more money than I made as an attorney. All right. So there's something you can do with your life, but you need to start thinking about the people you hang around with and how you find yourself to be in the situation that you're in. You understand? So there are two people who are going to be speaking to you, and this is called a victim impact. So they're going to tell you probably how this has impacted their life. I want you to listen and internalize what they're saying, okay? All right. Watson and Simmons. Let me see if we can get them. Would you call them, please? Because they're in the, here they are.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you can show your video if you want to show your video, but you don't have to show your video. Are you able to see Mr. Camarillo?
Yes.
All right. If you want to show your video, you can. If you do not, you don't have to. And you can begin whenever you're ready to begin.
Okay. So my name is, I am the eldest daughter of India Watson. She was one of the victims. She was the victim that actually lost her life, a pedestrian crossing the street. My mom was only 47 years old, with 3 kids under the age of 30 and 12 grandchildren at the time. When I received a call of her death, I was 34 weeks pregnant, and my sister was about 26 weeks pregnant. She never had an opportunity to meet those babies. She would never get to see her grandchildren graduate from college. She would never be able to attend my siblings' weddings when those times happen in the future. This has been extremely traumatizing on our family to not only lose her so suddenly, but in the manner she was killed. Some of the family had to witness video footage of the accident. Law enforcement was going so fast on the night she was killed that my mom was hit at a fast rate where her body flew into the air before it landed on the ground. At the funeral, her face had to be reconstructed for us to have an open casket. She had to be fully clothed with gloves. Ears cannot be shown. The woman who raised me, that I knew to be my mom, I didn't see that woman physically. She was unrecognizable. While I understand you were not driving a vehicle that collided with my mom, you have a role. The actions you played and the things that you did throughout the day contributed greatly to her death. It is difficult to accept that one day you will walk free and have the opportunity to make new memories with your loved ones. Meanwhile, we are left to pick up the pieces of a family torn apart. There is no sentence that can restore what we've lost. We live with the consequences of your actions every single day. The leniency of your plea deal does not reflect the magnitude of the harm you caused. My hope is that you will use the time not just to serve a sentence, but to reflect and grow into someone who values life and considers the pain and reckless choices that you can put on others. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Ms. Simmons,
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
good morning. You may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I am the maternal sister of Andrea Watson, and she was the youngest of my mother's 6 children. We certainly did not expect to bury our baby sister at the tender age of 47. There are 5 of us remaining. Andrea had a very large extended family, and she was loved and her life was valued. So it's a great loss to our family. And certainly, as my niece just explained, she had 3 young adult children and now 14 grandchildren. So we have a lot that she left us. But at the same time, those children will not have a grandmother that they can share memories with going forward. Um, this was an unnecessary occurrence. It was an accident, but unnecessary. And I do hope that going forward, this is something that you will think about as you'll have time to visit in prison and think about the impact that you had on a lot of people in our family, certainly. I was very intimately involved in her funeral proceedings. Um, so it was extremely difficult for me. Had a lot of emotional and psychological impact, of which I'm in therapy for. And I encourage all of my family to do the same because we have been in great pain for over a year now, and we're still suffering from the loss of our loved one. So it continues to be a difficult situation, The wounds are reopened each time I revisit the details surrounding her death, and there have been many instances since the funeral that we've had to go through writing statements and other things to try to clarify and close out uh, what has happened here. So, with all that being said, I just pray that justice will be served, and that at some point there will be some light that comes out of this dark, dark space that we were thrust into with the loss of my sister. Thank you, Yana.
Thank you so very much. And I hope you realize the impact, the negative impact you've had on other people's lives. Because do you have somebody in your family that you love a lot? Who would that be? All right. Can you imagine what if that was your grandmother just minding their business, obeying the law, walking in a pedestrian, and there is somebody out there driving recklessly, evading the police, knowing that they're in the wrong, and your grandmother got hit? So you need to understand their pain. You understand? All right. Good luck to you. You're welcome. Thank you both for coming in. And you are excused. The advocate will speak to you. Do you need to speak to them? All right. All right, so I'll put them in the wait. You're welcome. I'll put them in the waiting room. They may want to talk to you.
You gotta call her.
Okay.
You can-
All right. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
All right, Umberto Lira. Hello. All right, let me pull this up. You got stuck in the other county.
Sure did.
It wouldn't let you go. Every Mhm. every time you try to get in, they pull you back. All right, so on this case, just 1 second. All right, so it's your plea deadline date.
Like a trial.
All right, so if you will, do you want a jury trial or a bench trial? Let me explain something to you. We're in the middle of a bench trial right now. At a bench trial, I make the decision. I'm basically the jury. And what I can tell you, if the state proves their
It's for
case
you,
beyond
right?
a
It's for
reasonable
them.
doubt, I'm going to find you guilty.
Okay.
If they don't prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, I'm going to find you not guilty. For the court, if it's a murder case, if the state proves their case beyond a reasonable doubt, I'm going to find the person guilty. If they don't prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, I'm going to find them not guilty. So for the court, I don't pay any attention to, oh my gosh, this is a murder case. You can't find somebody not guilty. But if you want a jury trial, we will get you a jury trial.
Would look at her.
All right, Norma,
Yes, ma'am.
state,
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
do y'all want to, he's requesting a a day. If we do a jury selection on Wednesday and everybody's able to have their witnesses on Wednesday, it should be done on Wednesday. All righty.
Just to pull up on that stage.
Yeah, we can just put it on,
So I know the why.
We're okay with any other.
all right, you can put it in Jill, Norma.
So I do have a vacation letter on file. 23rd.
Norma, you want to put it on that first week in July? July 7th?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. All right, she'll be back for jury trial on July 7th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and I need an acknowledgement of discovery. And so state on that one, we can, since it's coming back on July 7th, we can pick a jury maybe in the afternoon and then
Self-right.
do the testimony or whatever in the afternoon on Tuesday. All right, thank you. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I'll get you. Discovery. Don't move on. The bench trap.
You wanna leave them on? You want them on?
You'll be here.
I was thinking them on.
One that you pour often.
Maybe it don't matter.
Well, it's not for you.
You just see that. See that.
Watch it. Occasionally. You doing? You're right. L-I-R-A.
You said that you said stuff. Right.
All right. Court is calling 2025 CR 00338 State versus Carlos Vasquez Saldana. Can I have the parties announced?
Megan Galloway and Jason Ferdinand for the state.
Roberto Vargas for the defendant, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
All right, and are you Mr. Saldana?
Oh, we need a translator, Judge.
I
That's right.
thought the interpreter was here.
Next month again to see. Where we're at.
Okay. See.
You have a pro day tomorrow, Monday?
Fine.
I should, can't lose.
Jim. Let's see that.
Okay.
Get divorces and I had pro saying those. Can't lose.
This is a fun one, you know that.
Translator here, Judge.
All right, just give me a moment.
I gave it to, no.
Oh, no problem. I haven't sworn anyone in. All right, the court is calling 2025 CR 003338 State versus Carlos Vasquez Saldana. Can I have the parties announce?
Roberto Valter, defendant, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Saldana?
Yes.
All right, we have an interpreter here. If you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
Yes.
And if you'll state your name for the record?
Pamela Payan.
All right, thank you. All right, state, you may call your next witness.
State Police Officer Ray Ariola.
That with the microphone on. Little bit. Yeah. All right, you're still under oath. If you will make sure to keep your voice up because the interpreter has to hear. And if you could speak at the pace I'm speaking at, it'll make it easier for the interpreter to translate. All right, if you'll state your name for the record.
I, Ray Ariola,
All right, state, you may proceed.
Officer Ariola, how are you currently employed?
currently employed with the San Antonio Police Department. I'm currently assigned to the downtown patrol and I've been on 5 years.
Are you a certified peace officer?
Yes, ma'am.
What are your duties on the patrol officer and the trace of the department?
Answering calls for service, whenever a call comes out or, just patrolling the downtown area.
What
Excuse
type of
me,
training did you?
Judge, can we raise his volume a little?
All right, if you could speak into the microphone.
This one, ma'am, or
Yes.
this one?
No, that one. The one on your clip is for the court reporter. That one is for the attorneys.
All right, this one better?
What type of training did you undergo to become a police officer with us?
Underwent the SAPD training academy,
How long was that?
8 months.
What type of things did you learn in that academy?
Traffic, arrest and seizure, just multiple things that are in accordance with the BPOC for the state of Texas. For TICO.
Were you employed as a police officer with the San Antonio Police Department between January 2nd and January 3rd of 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
Was your title and assignment the same on that day as you explained today?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you assigned to a call that was your report today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the associated case number associated with that call?
I do not.
Did you make a supplemental report associated with the call?
Yes, ma'am.
Would it help refresh your memory and were able to review that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it a fair and accurate copy of, entries that you made into the case?
Yes, ma'am.
And does it contain your badge number? And
Yes,
name?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you please, say what the case number associated with the call was?
The case number is gonna be SAPD 2500 1284.
Do you recall where this stop occurred?
I believe it was on Fredericksburg, off of Fredericksburg Road.
Is that located in your Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
On that day, were you working alone or
With a partner.
with your partner?
I had, oh, are you talking about in the patrol car?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was alone in the patrol car.
And I guess can you describe or how you arrived on the scene for a science call?
Yes, ma'am. I was driving in the area when I heard that the handling officer was out on on-site for traffic and for officer safety. I just went over there just to see if there's anything I can assist with.
Once you arrived on the scene, were you wearing a body worn camera on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
So were you confident to operate it?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure you would been marked as state exhibit number 3. Can you look at that and tell me if you recognize it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me what it is?
It's my body worn camera. The footage.
Did you put any identifying marks on it?
Yes, ma'am. My and the badge number.
Have you reviewed it before?
Yes, ma'am.
And was it a fair and accurate depiction of the events as they occurred on the offense date?
Yes, ma'am.
And except to comply with legal rules, has it been altered?
No, ma'am.
This time I'm referring to the section.
Just the one, just me. Sure. Pursuant to our agreement, I have no objection.
All right, then state's exhibit number 23, number 3 is admitted without objection.
Officer Ayala, was you arrived on scene? What were the scope of your duties?
I'm sorry.
What was the scope of your duties on scene?
When I arrived, I spoke with the handling officer and just see what he needed help with. And at that point, I told him I'd be able to read the defendant his Miranda rights.
Did you read the defendant his Miranda rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did it comply with 38.2 of the Texas law?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the defendant indicate that he understood his rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And then, did you use any physical evidence on scene?
Yes, ma'am. Shortly after I read the Miranda rights, I got with the handling officer again, who handed me the narcotics and the paraphernalia.
And who was the
Officer Yale Johnson.
did you bring those items of evidence at my direction today?
Yes, ma'am.
After you received the evidence from Officer Johnson, where did you go?
I went to the property room where I logged went to the property room, created the labels, and placed the narcotics and paraphernalia into separate manila envelopes and placed the tags as evidence.
I'm showing you what's been marked as state's exhibit number 6 and state's exhibit number 7. Do you recognize these items?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and just regarding, what is the SAPD case number that's associated with state's exhibits number 5 and 6?
The case number is SAPD 25001284.
Okay, and both state's exhibits number 5 and 6 contain serial barcodes on that, is that correct?
Correct.
And are you the person that affixed those barcodes on state's exhibits 5 and 6?
Correct.
Okay. Now, looking in your supplemental report, you have, what did you list as E1 in your supplemental report?
It's gonna be the 0.7 grams of methamphetamine.
Okay, and is that corresponding with state exhibit number 5?
Yes.
Okay, and then what did you label as E2 in your report?
E2 is gonna be for the paraphernalia, the 2 glass pipes, one.
And does that correspond with state exhibit number 6?
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding state exhibit number 5, what is the barcode number that's associated with state exhibit number 5?
It's gonna be barcode number 990001978844.
And what about with state exhibit number 6?
It's gonna be barcode number 990001978845.
And then that corresponds with your report, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, now where is the first place that you observed state exhibit number 5 and state exhibit number 6?
When I was handed to it by the handling officer.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and just open state exhibits number 5 and 6.
Yes, please. I'm good, just cover up.
Without pulling it out, look in there, does that appear to be the same item of evidence that you seized on and placed in the property room?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, state exhibit number 6, do the same.
Same thing.
You recognize it to be the same thing with you observed on scene?
Correct.
Okay, and after you seized it on the scene, I guess can you just explain the property room status, secure location, what is it for?
Yes, ma'am. So in the property room, there's computers for us to log into to create the labels. Once the labels are created, we are then able to print them and to properly tag each envelope with recording evidence. And then from there, there's secured lockers. And there's also a secure spot for narcotics.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state offers state exhibits 5 and 6 into evidence previously having been tendered to the.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, states exhibit 5 and 6 are admitted without objection. Granted. Yes. Gloves. Yes.
And at this time, I will ask the witness.
All right. Okay. And that exhibit number is,
That's state exhibit 6.
right? Thank you. All right, defense, you may proceed.
Good morning, officer. Also, if my voice is low, if you understand, just let me know. I'll repeat my question louder.
Yes, sir.
Officer, you were the second officer that arrived, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were the one that translated for him?
Negative. I did not translate.
Did you read him his rights in Spanish?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ask him some questions in Spanish prior to that?
Negative.
You didn't ask him any questions.
Just the Miranda rights for in Spanish.
Okay, did my client tell you some things voluntarily in Spanish?
After I had read the rights.
Okay. Now, prior to reading someone their rights, you tell them what they're charged with, is that correct?
Correct.
And what did you tell him he was charged with?
I didn't say anything to him. I just spoke with the handling officer who just asked me to read the rights.
Yes, but understand, this is prior to finding any drugs, is that correct?
Say again.
You read him his rights prior to finding any drugs, is that correct?
From what I understand is they had already located the drugs. Because as soon as I read the Miranda rights, that's when I obtained their narcotics to place in the property room.
So they searched the vehicle prior to arresting him?
That would be between the handling officer and the translating officer.
Yes, but you were there. You're saying that when you got there prior to reading them, the rights, they already had these the drugs and the paraphernalia. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So that means they searched it before he was read his rights.
Yes, sir.
Prior to you arriving there, when you got there, besides you, was there someone there present that spoke Spanish?
At the time, I believe he showed up. Yeah, he was there.
No, not after, but before you got there.
Before.
When you got there, was there someone already there that?
I don't recall if he was already.
Did you do a police report?
Negative. I just did the place the property supplement.
Whenever you're reading someone their rights and become part of the investigation, isn't it your duty to write a supplemental police report?
I did the supplement for the property.
I'm not talking about property. This is just a list of the items you took. I'm asking you, since you're reading his rights and you did take part in the arrest of this client, are you obligated to write a police report also?
Yes, sir.
And did you write one?
No.
So you didn't follow the route, the policies of the San Antonio Police Department at that point?
No.
No?
It's not.
Okay. How long have you been a police officer?
5 years.
5 years? So at the time of this stop, you're 5 or 4 or something?
4.
And so when you read him his rights, at that point, my client wasn't aware of what he was being arrested for.
I'm not sure if they had already advised them.
Well, you're the first one that spoke Spanish that arrived there, correct?
I don't speak Spanish. I just read off the little pamphlet that they give us for the Spanish of the rights.
So then who was the one that told him in Spanish that he was being charged
I
with?
think that would be Officer Garza.
The next officer, third officer?
Correct.
Okay. So up to this point, he's been written, he was in handcuffs and being detained, correct?
Correct.
He was under arrest, correct?
At this point, I believe he was already under arrest.
Prior to reading his rights.
Correct.
I mean, he couldn't just walk away.
No, he was not.
And so who's the one that got consent to search his car?
I believe that was Officer Garza.
And he's the third officer that came in?
Yes.
And he's the one that talked to him in Spanish?
Correct.
And your role is just limited to just reading the rights in Spanish?
Say that again?
Your role is just to read his Miranda rights in Spanish?
Correct.
And you have that on the card, correct?
Correct.
And then what did you do next?
Immediately after I obtained the narcotics and paraphernalia from the handling officer, and then that's when I left the scene to go place it in the property room.
Okay, so you're done.
Correct.
Okay. That's the witness, Your Honor.
All right.
Further questions?
Is this witness excused or subject for recall?
He's excused, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may step down.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
State, call your next witness.
We'll get there. Thanks, sir.
Good morning. If you put that microphone on, the square microphone, it's for the court reporter to hear. If you could pin that somewhere. You're still under oath. And if you'll make sure you speak into that microphone so everyone can hear.
Okay.
All right, if you'll state your name for the record.
Joseph Garza.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Officer Garza, how are you currently employed?
I'm employed to the city of San Antonio, the police department.
How long have you, are you a certified peace officer?
I am
How long have you been a certified peace officer with San Antonio Police Department?
approximately 2.5 years total with the academy.
Can you explain the training that you underwent to become a police officer with SCPD?
Yes. Extensive application process into physical training, penal code, traffic code, DWI investigations, crime scene investigations, numerous facets of the law and training in that.
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt. Off the record for a moment. There is someone in the waiting room, Hannah Griffin.
That is the.
All right, if somebody will let her know that I haven't brought her in because the rule has been invoked. All right,
I'll let Rose know.
all right, thank you. You may continue.
What's your current title and assignment with San Antonio Police Department?
I am a police officer assigned to the West night shift.
Okay. Were you employed as a police officer with SCPD between January 2nd, 2025 and January 1st, 2025?
I was.
So do you have the same current title and assignment on that date?
On that day, I was assigned to downtown dog watch.
And dog watch, is that just an overnight shift?
Yes, overnight.
Okay. And what are your duties as a patrol officer?
My duties as a patrol officer is, of course, generally patrol the area that I'm assigned to, answer calls for service. I can initiate traffic stops, various facets of law enforcement capabilities in that area.
So between January 2nd and the late hours of January 2nd, 2025 and the early morning hours of January 3rd, 2025, were you assigned to call under SCPD 25001284?
Yes, ma'am, I believe I was.
And how were you assigned to that?
I don't recall the specifics, but I do believe that I was dispatched or I self-assigned at dispatch's request for a translation for a traffic stop conducted by another officer.
Okay. And so I guess within the department, are you known as a translating officer?
Within my shifts generally, just because I do speak Spanish.
Okay. Are you familiar with the language of Spanish?
I am.
How long have you spoke Spanish?
Since I was little, that's my parents' first language. So.
And so you're able to speak and understand Spanish, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you arrive on scene, do you recall the other officers that were on scene when you arrived?
I believe I do, yes.
Who were they?
It was Yale Johnson, Ray Ariola. I believe Christopher Martinez showed up, but I'm iffy as to what he did. I think he was just providing traffic support.
Okay. I'm gonna show you what's been marked on State's Exhibit number 4. Can you take a look at that and tell me if you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is that?
It's the video of my body cam footage from that night.
Okay, have you reviewed it before?
Yes,
And did you place identifying marks on it to know that this is the same thing that you earlier watched?
yes, I did.
When you reviewed it, was it a fair and accurate depiction of the events as they occurred on the offense date?
Yes, ma'am.
And besides to comply with legal rules, to your knowledge, has it been altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
At this time, the state offers you to agree to defense for inspection.
Subject to agreement, having it mute, I don't have an objection.
All right, then State's Exhibit number 4 is admitted. Granted.
So, and looking at species of number 4, it appears that there's only one patrol vehicle on scene when you arrive, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I paused since it's at number 4, 39 seconds. Do you know who this person is right there?
Yes, that is Officer Bill Johnston.
And you know who that person is right there?
That is Mr. Saldana.
Do you see Mr. Saldana in court today?
I do, ma'am.
Can you just identify him by the color of clothing he's wearing?
Orange.
When you arrived, did the defendant identify himself to you?
He did.
Were you able to communicate with them?
I was.
At this point, have you, I guess, did you ask the defendant for authority to search anything on the scene?
Yes, I asked him if we could search his vehicle.
And what was his response?
He stated, yes, we can.
After you received that verbal consent from him, did you communicate that to any other officer?
Yes, I did.
Was that Officer Johnson?
It was.
And is he the person that performed the search of the vehicle?
Yes.
And that was after obtaining the verbal consent from the defendant, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you? I'm gonna fast forward. This is the Currently on seizure and reforms, you communicating with two officers, who are those officers?
That is Ray Ariola and Yale Johnson.
At this point, the vehicle had not been searched, correct?
Correct.
You see Officer Johnson at the car, is that correct?
Yes.
What is Officer Johnson doing, or is this for currently?
I believe he's beginning the search of the vehicle.
Do you know what Officer Johnson has in his hand currently on specific report?
Yes, it is a glass smoking pipe.
And what is that consistent with?
Based on my training experience and the level of residue, it'd be consistent with narcotics use.
Okay. Once, is that consistent with drug paraphernalia as well?
Yes, absolutely.
After that was located, did you conduct a search of the defendant's person?
I did.
Did you locate anything of significance on the defendant's person?
I did.
What is?
I located a glass smoking pipe of similar nature to the one that was found in the vehicle in his left front pocket.
I'm gonna show you what's been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit number 6. Is this what you found on the defendant's person?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After you conducted a search of the defendant's person, did you do anything else on the scene?
From what I recall, I just stayed on scene as just extra security. My vehicle was there preventing traffic from coming into us or anything like that.
When you conducted a search of the defendant's person, did you find anything that was consistent with like the use of tools?
I did. In his back left pocket, I found a couple screws, some drywall nails, and other various basic nails.
At this time, I'm going to publish this exhibit and we're going to be president for any attorney services.
Here's a good one, okay? So, antes de que se le hagan preguntas, es mi deber.
What was said on this specific number three?
Before you ask any questions,
Como oficial de policía informal de sus derechos y advertirle.
What was said?
I'm sorry, can you play it again?
Here's a good one, okay? So, antes de que se le hagan preguntas, es mi deber como oficial de policía informar de sus derechos y
It's my duty as a police officer to inform you of your rights
de las consecuencias de no usar estos derechos.
and the consequences of waiving these rights.
Tienen el derecho de mantener su silencio.
You have the right to remain silent.
No tiene que hacer ninguna declaración oral o por escrito en
You do not have to make any statement oral or written.
cualquier declaración que usted haga será usa en evidencia contra usted en una corte de ley
Whatever you do say can be used against you in the court of law.
y su juicio. Usted tiene el derecho de tener un abogado
You have the right to have an attorney
para aconsejarle a usted antes o durante cualquier interrogación por oficiales de policía, abogados representando a usted estado.
to consult you during and any questioning by police officers or attorneys.
Usted puede tener su propio abogado presente o si usted no puede emplear un abogado, la corte nombrará a un abogado para usted sin costo ahora o cualquier otro tiempo.
You can hire your own attorney or an attorney can be appointed to you by the court without charge.
Si usted decide hablar con alguien, usted puede parar de hablar con ellos a cualquier tiempo que usted desea.
If you choose to talk with anybody, you can, and you can stop talking to them at any time that you want.
Los derechos anteriores son derechos continuos que pueden ser invocados por usted en cualquier etapa de los procedimientos.
These rights that I just read are continuous and you can invoke them at any time.
Usted tiene los derechos. Sí.
Do you understand your rights? Yes, he said C, yes.
¿Cuál droga es?
What drug is it?
¿Cuál droga? Ice?
Okay, and I guess before the, ICE, what is that mean in, your training experience?
In my training experience, ICE is referred to at street level as what is methamphetamine.
Okay. Before the defendant was recognized and at the time that Officer Johnson has located the narcotics in the vehicle, did you advise the defendant that he was under arrest and what for?
Before when?
Before the defendant was placed in the vehicle.
I can't recall. I believe I did. We had some discussion at length while I was searching him and explaining to him what was happening.
You have the witness room.
Defense?
Officer, you just stated that you did have some discussion, but I didn't see that on your body cam. Was your body cam off when you discussed that part with your partners?
My body cam was not off at any time.
Did you review the whole video?
Yes, I believe it's 25 minutes long, yes.
And in that the video, that's from the point that you got out of your car till you finished the investigation, correct?
Yes, I believe I deactivated my video.
So in that video, did you see yourself talking to the other officers regarding the charges? That question that was asked to you by the state
In the I'm sorry,
in the video.
in the video,
Did you see yourself talking to the other officers regarding the charges that? you had?
I did see myself speaking with the other officers, yes.
Yeah, I know you're speaking to them, but as far as the content, was it? Did you tell them? Did they tell you what he was charged with at that point?
Officially charged with? No, because we need to know the weight of the substance.
Now, as far, you are the second person to read him as Miranda, right? So were you aware of that?
That I was the second person to read him as Miranda rights?
Are you aware of that?
I don't recall if I did or not.
In fact, Officer Ariola read him his Miranda rights prior to you showing up. Were you aware of that?
No.
So when you approached my client for the first time, did you tell him what he was being charged with at that point?
No, sir, I don't believe I did.
And this is prior to searching the vehicle, is that correct? Initial visit, your initial contact with him?
What is prior to searching the vehicle?
They didn't search the vehicle till after you had a conversation with my client?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's when you asked my client if you could search the vehicle, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had some other conversation with my client, is that correct?
Yes.
And he told you that that was his boss's car?
I believe you did, yes.
Now, in your training, you said you've been an officer 2.5 years, more or less?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In your training in the academy, whenever you read someone their Miranda rights, prior to reading them their rights, you tell them what they're charged with. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
If you don't tell them what they're charged with, you're not properly advising this person what he's charged with. You don't read them on Miranda rights unless you tell them what he's charged with, correct?
I do believe you can interview people, but before you do that, you read them their Miranda rights. Not necessarily if they're being charged, but perhaps witness to a crime or was in the vicinity of a crime that occurred. You want to interview this person.
Now, on a traffic, I may be asking this question again, but it'll be the last time I ask you this question. When you approached and spoke to the arresting officer, he didn't tell you why he was being arrested at that point?
When I first arrived,
Yes, and you spoke to the arresting officer. My client was already detained in handcuffs, read his Miranda rights. Did the officer tell you what he was being charged at that point?
when I arrived, Mr. Saldana was only detained.
I understand that. I'm asking you, when you arrived and you spoke to the arresting officer, my client was already under arrest in handcuffs. He had already been read his Miranda rights. Did the arresting officer tell you what his current charge was at that point?
Judge, I'm gonna object just because I don't think that's a fair representation of what occurred. Just, I did play the videos on Twitter, so state's exhibit number 3 is Officer Garza, that was received, state's exhibit number.
All right, state you'll be able to redirect if you choose to do so. All right, defense, you may proceed.
Thank you. You were the third officer to arrive, correct?
I believe I was the second officer. Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Why would the third officer read him his rights then?
I'm not sure, sir. We were helping each other out on the call. One officer may be doing another activity while one may be assisting with reading Miranda rights.
Well, if you read him his rights already, why would this other officer have to read him his rights?
So I believe there might be some confusion. I did not read him his rights. Not that I recall, not that I saw in my video.
So you never read him his rights in Spanish?
I did.
You did?
I did not.
So who was that on the video?
That was Officer Ray Ariola. He was here previous to me.
Okay, he's the one that read him his rights?
Yes, sir.
So you're the second officer to come in, and at that time, my client was detained under arrest, correct?
He was detained when I arrived.
Well, he wasn't free to leave, right?
That's, yes.
Uh, and what did the arresting officer tell you why he was detaining him? What was the charge?
So he was detained.
Why?
So technically on any traffic stop, right? I activate my emergency lights. You are at that time detained. And then subsequent to that, Pennsylvania versus Mims, I asked, our Officer Yale Johnson asked him to exit the vehicle. And place him in handcuffs for his safety and ours. As to what Officer Johnson observed that would lead him to do that, which is within our capability, I can't speak to, but I just know that when I arrived, Mr. Saldana was detained lawfully and in handcuffs, but not yet charged with any crime. Just a traffic violation.
You're kind of confusing when you, based on what you're telling me, you and the arresting officer arrived at the same time?
No,
The arresting officer made the initial stop, then he called for someone to come and speak Spanish, correct?
yes, sir.
And then that's when you came in, correct?
Yes, sir.
So when you arrived there, my client was already detained, handcuffed in the back of the vehicle, in the front of the police vehicle. Is that correct?
In the back of or in front?
In front, back of his vehicle, but in front of the police officer's vehicle.
Yes, he was in handcuffs, detained in front of the police vehicle.
And the officer didn't tell you why he was detaining him at that point?
No,
Mhm. And then you proceed to ask him questions without reading him his rights, is that correct?
questions pertaining to a crime?
You asked him questions, any questions.
Oh, yes, sir.
And you asked you asked for permission to search his vehicle, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is, this was a traffic violation, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, it was an equipment stop, correct?
As far as I know, I can't speak to.
You don't know the traffic stop was there. You arrived and you had him pulled over, correct?
Yes, sir.
Fair enough. When on a traffic stop, what do you base y'all's decision on a simple traffic stop to take the person out of the vehicle, hold on the handcuffs, and then has to check their vehicle?
So there could be a number of factors that lead to somebody being detained for safety, detained and placed in handcuffs. That could be furtive movement, prior knowledge, perhaps even the recognition of a gang tattoo on said person, or that prior firearms convictions and stuff like that.
Would it be based on race?
Can it be based on race? No.
I'm just asking. I've been stopped before. I've never been searched like that. So your whole conversation with him was done prior to reading the Miranda rights, correct?
Correct.
Mhm. And you weren't the one that did the inventory on the vehicle, correct?
I was not.
On a basic traffic stop, why do you have to search someone's vehicle?
I'm gonna object to the lack of personal knowledge in this case because he's already testified that he arrived after the stop and was not surprised and absent when he stopped and he's not searching officer in this case.
He's the one that asked in Spanish if he could search your vehicle.
All right, so what is your question?
My question is, why do you have to do a inspection of a vehicle in a Class C traffic stop?
All right, are you asking for this specific
I'm
case?
asking you based on your experience as an officer
Are you asking him about this specific case?
in general.
All right, you may ask the question if you know the answer.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, based on your training and your experience, why do you officers on a Class C misdemeanor selectively pick people to do a vehicle search?
There could be a number of factors that play into that. Like I said, sort of movement, driving behavior, body language. Using, is this person furtive, nervous? Are they, there's a number of factors that can go into that. It's a traffic stop. Should the officer determine that he'd like to investigate, should there be crime afoot? I mean, that's something within our purview.
Did my client tell you what kind of work he was doing?
I can't remember that he did.
Did his shirt have a construction name on it, if you recall?
If it did, I didn't read it. I'm sorry, sir.
And in the back of his pants, you found what, nails and
Nails and screws.
stuff that they use for construction sites?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, sir.
All right, you may proceed. Any redirect?
So if I'm understanding correctly, you were in the first incident in the report, which is your body movement. So when you arrived on scene and see the unit number 4, it appeared in the video, you identified that Officer Johnson was the only one outside the decision at that time, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, there were no other SUV patrol vehicles on scene at that time, correct?
Correct.
So at this point, you testified on cross-examination that it's your understanding the defendant had been detained by Officer Johnson, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and Officer Johnson put out on the radio for a Spanish-speaking officer to make the scene to translate, correct?
Correct.
So it's fair to say that Officer Johnson at that point had been unable to identify the defendant, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you testified on cross that a reason to detain somebody during a traffic stop is if they had previously been making furtive movements and the officer has reason to believe that his safety is in jeopardy, is that correct?
Correct.
And so then you don't read the defendant his Miranda rights, correct? That was Officer Adiola, correct?
Correct.
All right, and so when you arrive on scene, at this point, you attempt to identify the defendant, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then in your discussions with him, you obtain the verbal consent for the search and move, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Okay. And so then at that point, you communicate that verbal consent to Officer Johnson, which we saw in CC number 4, correct?
Correct.
And then Officer Johnson goes over to motor vehicle and conducts a search, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then at that time, drug paraphernalia is found, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that is, you're able to observe that on scene and in CC number 4, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then at that point, that's when we conduct the search of the defendant's person, right?
Correct.
Can you pass the witness for us?
Any further questions?
Just 1 or 2 questions. Officer, you saw the back of the vehicle that my client was driving?
Yes, sir.
It was heavily tinted.
It was dark.
And it's even darker at night, right?
It can be.
No further questions.
No further questions and excuse by the speaker.
All right, is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may step down if you'll leave your microphone behind. All right, state, you may call your next witness.
Hold it there.
Hannah Griffin, are you there? If you could unmute, please, and show your video.
Yes, I'm here.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you on our end. Just give us one moment.
Okay.
All right, could you speak for us to make sure that we can hear you on our end?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect.
The interpreter, are you able to hear her? All right. All right, can you say something now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that is great.
Okay.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
My name is Hannah Griffin.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Thank you. Ms. Griffin, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How are you presently employed?
I am a forensic scientist with the Bexar County Crime Lab in the drug identification section.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
I have been employed there for 6.5 years.
Okay. And what are your duties as a forensic scientist in the drug ID section of the Bexar County Crime Lab?
As a forensic scientist in drug ID, I perform testing on evidence submitted by law enforcement agencies to determine whether an unknown substance is a controlled substance. I analyze my test results and prepare reports to those findings, and I give those reports to law enforcement agencies, and I testify in court as an expert witness.
Okay. Can you describe your educational background, please?
Yes, I have a bachelor's of science in forensic science, or forensic chemistry, I'm sorry, from the University of Mississippi.
Okay. And have you underwent any training to qualify you as a forensic scientist with the crime lab?
Yes, I completed on-the-job training with the crime lab upon my employment. That included required readings, written examinations, practical examinations where I showed proficiency in specific tasks required as per our protocol. I also completed observation of casework from a released and trained analyst. And then I also performed supervised casework underneath a trained analyst where I did actual evidence analysis and things like that. And I also participated in a mock trial to prepare for testimony as an expert witness.
Okay. And have you previously testified as an expert in court before?
Yes.
All right. Does the Bexar County Crime Lab have credentials or certification, or is it accredited? Excuse me.
Yes, the Bexar County Crime Lab is an accredited laboratory with ANAB, which is our national accreditation board.
Okay. And in the Bexar County Crime Lab, do you have the ability to take an unknown substance and analyze it and identify it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And did you do that in the case that we're here for today?
I did.
Briefly, can you just explain how a specimen is received in the lab for testing?
Yes. The law enforcement agency will submit the evidence to our evidence receiving section, where it is entered into our laboratory information management system, LIMS for short, and it's given a unique identifying number known as the Criminal Investigation Laboratory Number, CIL number. There it is stored in a secure evidence vault until it is time for an analyst to pick it up and perform testing on it. At that time, an analyst will come down and sign it out. So then it's in their custody and they will take it to whatever section they're in and perform analysis on it as needed. And during that time, the evidence stays secure in the individual section's evidence vault.
Okay.
And just for a moment to interrupt, this witness is appearing by Zoom, and both parties had no objection to this witness appearing by Zoom. Is that correct, State?
That's correct.
Defense, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Saldana, you had no objection to this witness appearing by Zoom? All right, thank you. You may continue.
Ms. Griffin, I am going to publish to you case exhibit number 5. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Is this a substance, or was case exhibit number 5 received into your lab for testing and analysis?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And how are you able to recognize case exhibit number 5?
I'm able to recognize this evidence based off of the CIL number, like I mentioned before, as well as my initials and the date it was received, and the Bexar County Crime Lab evidence tape that is on the top.
And so your additional identifying marks on case exhibit number 5, is that correct?
Those marks were made by the evidence receiving section, the ones you're pointing out right now.
Okay, and then this is your additional signatures here, is that correct?
Correct. That is my initials and the date of when the evidence was sealed and finished analysis.
Okay. When these substances are received in the lab, are they assigned well, you've already explained the CIL number. What was the CIL number in this case?
The CIL number in this case was 25-00184.
Okay. And did that correspond with the agency case number of 25-00-1284?
Yes.
Okay. And on what day did you personally take custody of
The substance for analysis.
May I refer to my notes? I have a copy of the discovery packet with chain of custody on it right here.
Yes.
Okay. The date that I personally took custody of this case was February 6th, 2025.
Okay, and prior to that, isn't it correct that it was received from the San Antonio Police Department on January 8th of 2025 by the crime lab?
That is correct. That's what my notes are saying.
Okay. And then what dates were your analysis conducted?
Specifically, the analysis was conducted. I started analysis on it on February 12th, 2025, and released the case, completed everything on February 21st, 2025.
Okay. Can you please explain to the court the type of analysis that you conducted on State's Exhibit number 5?
Yes. On State's Exhibit 5, I performed presumptive testing as well as confirmatory testing.
What does that look like?
So presumptive testing gives a general idea of what a substance could be, to where it leads us in the direction of how to proceed confirming the identity of the substance. Whereas when I do confirmatory testing, I am positively identifying it or determining the identity of an unknown substance. Would you like further explanation?
Yes, please.
So some of the presumptive tests that I performed were a color test, as well as something called thin layer chromatography. And the confirmatory testing that I performed on this item was gas chromatography mass spectrometry.
Okay. And are those methods accepted by the scientific community?
Yes, they are.
And are they known to be reliable?
Yes.
Okay. After you conducted your analysis, did you make a report of your findings?
I did.
Okay.
Can you see the document that I'm holding up to you?
Yes,
All right. Does this document contain your signature?
it does.
And it contains the correct identifiers, the CIL number and the case number?
Correct.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of the results that you generated at the time that you conducted your analysis?
Yes,
And are you custodian of records for the Bear County Crime Lab?
I am.
Okay, and is this exhibit number 7 maintained in the course of business at the crime lab?
Yes.
At this time, tendering the defense for inspection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, and what exhibit number is that, please? All right, state's exhibit number 7 is admitted without objection.
Okay. Ms. Griffin, what was the result of your analysis of the substance in this case?
This item tested positive for methamphetamine.
Okay. Is that a controlled substance in the state of Texas?
It is.
Okay. Do you know what PG group that is?
I believe it is a penalty group 1.
Okay. Did you weigh the controlled substance?
I did.
Okay. What was the weight of of state's exhibit number, or what was the weight of the substance?
The weight of the item that I tested was 0.253 grams with an uncertainty of 0.004 grams.
Okay. And then apart from what you used for the analysis, did you alter or change the contents of the bag or the substance in any way?
No, I did not.
Okay. Was there anything that prohibited you from conducting the analysis or any issues with the analysis?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, we pass the witness.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Thank you. You stated that you received the items on February 6th, correct?
That's correct. That's when they were in my custody officially.
And my client was arrested on January 3rd. Do you know where these items were being stored between this time period of January 3rd and February 6th?
Like I said before, I can only speak to the chain of custody that started when it came into the lab, and it entered into our laboratory on January 8th. So I can say that the evidence was in our secure evidence vault starting January 8th until I received it, where it was then continued to be kept in a secure vault until analysis was completed and returned to the agency. I can't testify to where it was before January 8th.
Now, depending where these items, actually, let me rephrase this. When you received the items, where did you store these items?
When I received the items, the evidence, I stored it in the drug identification section secure vault for evidence. That is badge access only for our section.
Is this area like refrigerator or just like a safe?
It is a secure locked room. It is not refrigerated.
And how high does the temperature get in that room?
The laboratory is kept temperature controlled, so I would say room temperature 70 degrees or so Fahrenheit.
Where these items are temporarily stored until you run your test, correct?
That's correct.
When you say temper control, how do you control the temperature?
That's a question for facilities management. I have no clue how the temperature is controlled.
Can the temperature affect these items?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Now, when you weigh these items, did you take them out of the plastic bag?
I did. When I weighed it, I measured it as a net weight. So I took it out of all packaging and it was just the weight of the substance inside all the packaging.
I know you tell me so many grams, but how does that look like? Like half a sweet and low pack or something like that?
So 0.253 grams. To compare, a sweet and low pack's about 1 gram. So a quarter of a sweet and low pack is about how much this substance was.
Thank you.
No further questions, Judge.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
With thanks.
Sorry.
Actually, I don't know further questions.
Right. Any other questions?
No,
today?
Judge.
All right, is this witness excused?
Yes, Judge, by the state.
Move for mistrial.
All right. Thank you. You may be excused.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
My bad.
All right, state, call your next witness.
The state rests, Your Honor.
All right, defense. So first things, you had filed a motion to suppress, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, do y'all have the motion to suppress for me?
I got a copy here, Judge. We got
Oh, if you'll bring the copy forward. And State, have you reviewed
Yeah, that's right.
the motion to suppress?
Yes,
Your Honor,
Oh, just one moment, let me review it.
no, I was gonna arrest too. Can we just do both at the same time?
Well, I think, of course, if we were before a jury doing a motion to suppress, this would sort of be pretrial, so it may be appropriate to handle the motion to suppress. And then,
You read that, may I go to restroom?
yes. Yes. And if anyone else needs a break, please take your break. Oh, excuse me. Do you need? See?
Yes, Judge.
All right, we are back on the record. And defense, the court is in receipt of your motion to suppress and state you receive the motion.
Yes,
All right, defense, the court will hear your argument with regards to the motion to suppress.
Yeah, I know you told me I can sit back, feel more comfortable if I stand for the court.
That's fine.
Your Honor, I ask that the court take judicial notice that this was a warrantless arrest.
Okay, let's start there. State, do you
I
agree that this
stipulate
is
to
the-
that, yes.
Yes, all right. So that's been stipulated too, and the court will note for the record that this arrest was done without a warrant.
Your Honor, in regard to my motion to suppress, I'm asking to suppress the drug item and the drug paraphernalia that's found in my car because it was a wrongfully searched vehicle, unconsubstantiated. Wrongful search because my client wasn't properly memorized before they asked for consent to search the vehicle. Initially, when he was stopped, the officer that stopped him didn't speak Spanish, so he did the proper thing, got on the radio, asked for a Spanish-speaking officer to show up. He did take my client out of the vehicle for his safety concerns, and I realized that's a judgment call because the most dangerous part of a traffic stop is when the officer gets out of the car and walks to the driver's door. And it's a judgment call, and I respect that. However, Your Honor, he did the proper thing. He asked for a Spanish speaker. We heard testimony of two officers. They were out of order. I thought the second officer was the second officer that made the stop, but it's actually the third officer that came in second, who spoke Spanish, and asked him questions. But for some reason, if this person spoke Spanish at that point, he should have read him his Miranda rights. Instead, he did not. Instead, he did it. He asked him questions. He asked to search the car before he was even read his rights. I understand at this point, Your Honor, my client is detained. He is handcuffed. He is not from the United States. He's under stress, so he doesn't have he hasn't been read his rights. So he at this point, before searching the car, they should have read him his rights. So he could at that point exercise his right to have an attorney, exercise his right to remain silent. But at this point, they decided they asked questions before reading his rights. And this is a Class C misdemeanor, an equipment failure. There was nothing there to show that the officer was in danger, nothing there to show that he was using drugs. He didn't smell any drugs. My client didn't smell like alcohol. My client didn't seem like he was under the influence of anything. But at this point, the second officer, since he spoke Spanish, should have read him his rights before he spoke to him and asked him these questions. And once they did find he stopped the pipe and what have you, the third officer that read him his rights and then followed proper procedure. Prior to reading his right, you tell him what he's charged with. He never did that. All he did was tell him read him his rights, and that was it. We didn't get any testimony from the two other officers saying that what he was being charged with prior to this in Miranda rights. But the most important thing, Your Honor, is that the second officer should have initially, once my client was detained in handcuffs and wasn't able to go anywhere, should have read him his Miranda rights before he proceeded to ask him questions, before he proceeded to ask to search the vehicle. And for that reason, Your Honor, we're asking to suppress the evidence and any testimony of the three officers. Thank you.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Judge, so we're asking that you deny the suppression. If we look at the evidence linearly, the officer did have a reason to conduct a traffic stop. He did Officer Johnston testified that the car had expired registration, and that was the reason that he pulled the car over. Now, looking in the interaction between the officer and the defendant, Officer Johnston did testify that the defendant did not identify himself to Officer Johnston, and that may partly be because of the language barrier, but he was pulled out due to furtive movements that Officer Johnston did observe the defendant making prior to the stop, and Officer Johnston did testify that it was for officer safety. And so at the time that Officer Garza arrives, which is the second officer, the defendant is not under arrest at this point. There's no evidence that he was committing any offenses other than Class C violations. And so at this time, I think the evidence shows that the police are trying to identify him and either cite him and send him on his way or, conduct additional investigation. But Officer Garza did obtain that verbal consent from the defendant that was then communicated to Officer Johnston, which is supported by the exhibits that have been entered into evidence. And so at that time, Officer Johnston goes to the vehicle after he's informed that Officer Garza did obtain verbal consent from the defendant, and that is when he conducts a search of the vehicle and observes the drug paraphernalia and the illegal substances in the car. We see that those substances are pulled out and placed on the hood in front of the defendant, and that is when he's placed under arrest and then later on read his Miranda rights. And so I would ask that the court deny the motion.
All right, so here's the court's question. If the defendant had not given consent, defense, are you saying that the search would not be admissible?
I would state if it's not admissible because they didn't read them as Miranda rights.
No, I mean, if there was no reading of rights, if there was no consent ever given to search the vehicle, are you saying that they did not have the authority to search the vehicle without his consent?
Yes, because he was in control of the vehicle.
All right, so with regard to the first point in your motion, the court is finding that the stop was a legal stop. So now we move to the next issue of whether or not there was a right to search the vehicle. But because based upon the evidence that the court has received, you have drugs that were found inside the vehicle. Is there anyone here from either side who is stating that, according to testimony, that the drugs were not found in the vehicle? So are both parties agreed that drugs were found in the vehicle?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so, and do both parties agree that the drugs were found because the officer searched the vehicle?
Yes.
All right, so as previously stated, I'm finding that the stop was a legal stop. So the next question becomes whether or not the search of the vehicle was appropriate. So let's assume that there was no consent ever given. Are you still arguing that the police did not have the right to search the vehicle without a consent?
Yes, Honor, because he had at that point, they hadn't charged him of any crime.
All right. And state, if the consent were not given to search the vehicle, would you say that they still had the authority to search the vehicle? If the consent were not given?
If the consent were not given, I think the evidence that has been, or what testimony has brought out is that, yeah, I'm gonna say no, they wouldn't have had.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then the next question becomes the consent. So let's focus on his giving of consent to search the vehicle. And I think both parties will stipulate that he gave consent to have the vehicle searched.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so then it becomes whether or not the consent was given voluntarily. Is that your argument?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so then let's address the voluntariness of the consent. All right, defense, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. At this point, he was handcuffed. He was checked. He was checked for anything, any weapons in his body. At this point, he was being detained. He was not free to go. And so at this point, when the person's arrested, they get nervous and afraid and under duress, and they believe it. And him not being from the United States, not really knowing his rights. At this point, I mean, he's under duress. He's handcuffed before, and so he just I don't think it was a voluntary consent because he wasn't properly advised on whether he could or could not. The only thing he knew was that he had handcuffs on, he was under arrest.
All right, so the question becomes then, are you saying that the consent to search was given while he was in handcuffs, but before he was Mirandized?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so do both parties stipulate that the consent to search was given before he was Mirandized?
The consent was obtained prior to Miranda, yes.
All right, then the next question becomes whether or not was he in handcuffs before he gave consent to search?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, he was.
All right, so let's focus on that then with the voluntariness of the consent to search while he was handcuffed. All right, so your argument, now that both parties have agreed that he wasn't Mirandized, he was placed in handcuffs, and then he was asked if he would give consent to search the vehicle, and both parties stipulate that he said yes, they could search the vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
All right, so then now we're looking at whether or not, because he was in handcuffs, was the consent voluntary? So we could narrow it down and focus on that.
I don't believe it was voluntary, Your Honor. This is a Class C violation, which a person gets a ticket and then is put on his way. In this case, it was put out, immediately removed from his vehicle because the officer thought he feared for his safety, and then he was handcuffed. At this point, when you're handcuffed, he's especially someone who's limited in the law, is gonna be under duress and believe that he's under arrest, and the best thing to do is cooperate with the officers. Had he been advised that he could have said no, he might have said no, but at this point, he's nervous and he's just trying to be cooperative with the police because he in his mind, he believes he's under arrest.
All right, and state.
Judge, just surrounding the voluntariness, I think we need to look at all of the relevant circumstances that are surrounding that. So regarding the argument that the defendant was not informed that he had a right to refuse, that's not required by law. And so I think here there's no evidence that, he was repeatedly asked. There's no evidence that the defendant ever denied the consent after being asked one time. Additionally, I think we need to look at the proximity of the consent to the detention. The whole encounter was less than 25 minutes. And I guess,
Yeah.
Oh, just one second.
hold on. Yeah, sorry.
All right, let's do this for both sides, because now that I think all parties know what your issue is, and it's strictly whether or not he voluntarily consented to the search. It's been established by both parties that he was in handcuffs at the time he consented, that he had not been Mirandized before he consented. So let's take a recess. I will give both parties to formulate their arguments. And counsel, you stated that you have no witnesses. Is that correct? All right. So I'll have everybody come back here at 1:30. And that way, are you able to do that, counsel?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So that way everybody can formulate more arguments if they have more arguments for the court. And then at that time, the court will make its ruling.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you.